Alright, folks. We're on to the last hero from Fire Emblem into fictional characters for D&D. And this time it is Lyon from Fire Emblem 8. So let's not jump any bushes here or make any pacts with demons and just hop right into it, shall we? So first thing we have to do is rate the difficulty of the build. Difficulty of this build, I rank it hard. Why do I rank it hard? Because you're going to be playing a Warlock, but you're going to have very low con. Lyon is known for being a very frail individual, so his con is going to suffer for it, which makes it very squishy, which is very dangerous in D&D. So that's why I'm ranking the build hard. Difficulty of RP, I rank it medium. You know, you're trying to bring back a demon even if you don't really want to. It's a fun time, so yeah, medium difficulty for it. So as I stated earlier, Lyon is going to be a very weak boy when it comes to Constitution. All of his other stats are actually pretty good. He's going to have 12 Strength, 12 Dexterity, 9 Con, 16 Intelligence, 12 Wisdom, and 16 Charisma. This will all feed into his class, which will help him out later, and it fits his character because he's very weak-bodied. The only reason Dex and Con are so high is because I didn't want his Wisdom to be maxed, because his Wisdom, he's not a wise man, using a demon to try and revive his father, which is the reason he got possessed, which is also why he's going to be a Warlock. And you may be wondering, how do we get these stats using point buy? Because that's the system we always use. Well, it's simple. We're a human. Not even a variant human for once, just a plain old human, so we get +1 to everything. Then, our background, I'm not going to explain it. You already know what it is. It's noble. You already know what you get from noble. Not doing it again. Simple as that. But on top of that, we have our languages, which is something I don't usually go over, but our background gives us 1 extra language. And we have 1 language from being a human on top of common. So you're going to take Abyssal, so that way you can understand demons, because you're going to be a Warlock. And then, for once in these builds, you get one of your choice. Take whatever you want, one other language. Just have fun with that. Now let's get into the class itself, Warlock, shall we? Oh boy howdy, you already know what class we're going to be if we're doing Lyon. He's obviously a Warlock, which means we get our skill proficiencies and our saving throws from that class. So we have Wisdom and Charisma as our saving throws, which are nice because we boosted those stats so they don't suck. Then we have our skills proficiencies, which are going to be History and Persuasion from our background, then Deception and Investigation. The reason I chose Deception is because he's very good at lying when he is possessed by Formitis. And it fits pretty well. Investigation, just because we needed another one. Starting equipment, Light Crossbow, Arcane Focus, Scholar's Pack, Leather Armor, you're not going to need it, trust me. A Club, you're not going to need it, trust me. And 2 Daggers, you're not going to need them, trust me. Then, starting level 1, we are a Warlock, correct? Alright, so we're going to choose our Patron right away. And obviously, we're going to choose the only one that makes sense. We're choosing the Fiend. Why the Fiend? Because you're either going to make a pact with a devil or a demon. Formitis is the Demon King. So you are making a pact with the Fiend, Demon King. Makes sense. That gives us our Pact magic. It's not really anything too interesting there, but it is a nice little bit. We get our Warlock magic, which Warlock magic is funky. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Just make sure you pay attention. You only have a set amount of spell slots. That's what they're called. You only have 2, maybe 3, and eventually 4. So your evocations are what's really going to be important. You get those at 2nd level. You're going to have 2 at first. Eldritch evocations, that is. You'll get a bunch more as you level up more in Warlock, but for this build, we're only going to be up to 3. And we'll go over those in a minute. Level 3, though, we get our Pact Boon. And we get Pact of the Tome. What does Pact of the Tome do? It gives us access to 3 additional cantrips. So on top of the 4 cantrips we already get from Warlock, when we have all 4, right now we're only going to have 3 of the 4, you get an additional 3 from any class you want, even if they're not Warlock cantrips. This is pretty helpful from boosting your utility as a Warlock since you don't have a lot of spell slots. Level 4, we're just going to use it for a simple ASI improvement to our Charisma. So that way, our Charisma stats a little higher, boosting it to 18, so we have a +4 then. Level 5, nothing happens. Warlock doesn't get anything level 5, other than a little bit of HP. But just remember, your HP is going to be lower because you are playing a very weak, sickly man. And so, that is why con is probably not going to be raised. You can raise your con if you want to, by all means, but I made con dump stat for a reason. Now, let's get into Eldritch Evocations and our cantrips and our spells, shall we? Alright, getting into Eldritch Evocations. What are Eldritch Evocations exactly? Let's start with that first. Eldritch Evocations are this wonderful little thing you get from your patron and from being a warlock. In your study of occult lore, you have unearthed Eldritch Evocations, fragments of forbidden knowledge that imbue you with an abiding magical ability. At level 5, we will have 3 of these bad boys. And what are the 3 we're going to have? We are going to have Agonizing Blast, Armor of Shadows, and Devil Sight. Now, what do these 3 do? Agonizing Blast means our Eldritch Blast, which is one of our cantrips, does more damage. It's a pretty good thing to have. Means our utility and our cantrips will do more damage. It's pretty much a classic staple for Warlock. And so that's the reason we chose that one. Armor of Shadows, kind of another one. It lets you cast Mage Armor on yourself at will. And what Mage Armor does, it makes it so instead of wearing any type of armor, like Light Armor, which you would be wearing, which is 11 plus your Dex modifier, you instead get 13 plus your Dex modifier. And you get unlimited cast of that on yourself. Mage Armor is pretty helpful when you don't want to wear armor and we're going to be wearing our fancy robes all the time. And then the last one, Devil's Sight, is kind of a spicy one for Warlocks, but it's also kind of generic once again. Gives us dark vision. Since we're human, we don't have dark vision normally. But it gives us a special type of dark vision that can also see through magical darkness. So you can see through magical darkness and non-magical darkness for 120 feet. So it's better than dark vision in every shape and form. And that's pretty awesome. Now, on to cantrips. We're going to start with the 3 you are going to be taking from Warlock before we tackle the ones from the Pact of the Tome, because the Pact of the Tome ones have a special feature. 3 from Warlock, you're going to take Chill Touch, Eldritch Blast, and Friends. Why Friends? Because you're still trying to deceive people that you aren't possessed by a demon. Now, Pact of the Tome will give us 3 more cantrips. The thing with Pact of the Tome is if you lose your tome, you do not have access to these spells. It'll take an hour to get your tome back, wherever you do, so if you ever lose your tome for some reason, you don't have access to these. But they are more utility and 1 damaging cantrip. It's Create Bonfire, Mold Earth, and Toll the Dead. Now, Toll the Dead is a Warlock cantrip, so you could take that later on as your 4th cantrip if you so choose. But I put it in the Pact of the Tome just so that way we had it immediately along with other utility. Now, our spells. We only know 6 spells at level 5 as a Warlock, and our spell level is 3, meaning we could cast, no matter what level we cast our spell, or no matter what spell we cast, it'll always be cast at 3rd level. No matter what, Warlock is always upcasting their spell to the max spell slot they have. In this case, the 6 spells we have are, though, Arms of Hadar, Charm Person, Unseen Servant, Darkness, Ray of Enfeeblement, and Vampiric Touch. Digging into the whole demon thing, getting your powers from a demon, Unseen Servant is like a miniature invisible demon helping you out with things. Darkness, because you can see through that, is really good utility, meaning you're giving all your enemies disadvantage on hitting you, while you could still hit them normally from a distance. Ray of Enfeeblement is absorbing their energy and feeding yourself with it. And lastly, Vampiric Touch is similar to Ray of Enfeeblement. You're going to eat people, essentially. You're not actually eating people, but like, you're absorbing their power, which is pretty nice. And you get to heal yourself from it, and since you're going to have a low con, Vampiric Touch kind of boosts that a little bit. Here's what it does exactly. You touch The touch of your Shadowed Wreath hand can siphon life force from others to heal your wounds. On a hit, the target takes 3d6 necrotic damage, and you regain hit points equal to the half the amount of necrotic damage dealt. Until the spell ends, because it's concentration, you can keep making this attack again on each of your turns as an action. And the best thing about that is it can be upcast. So this will help bolster your really shitty health by making sure you don't die as fast if you get stuck in combat and melee range. Hopefully you're not in melee range, because all of your spells, for the most part, make you stay out of melee range. But if you get stuck in there, Vampiric Touch will help you keep yourself alive, since your health is going to be lower. Now that being said, that's the build. I've been your host, GSmith624. I hope you enjoyed. This is the end of Fire Emblem month, people. I'm probably going to take like a week break from YouTube after this. And then we'll come back with some more D&D stuff, more Fire Emblem stuff, all that good shit. But until next time, farewell, and have a nice day. Peace.